What's going on, y'all?
Hey, happy Mother's Day, everybody.
Happy Mother's Day!
I guess not everybody. Happy Mother's Day to the mothers.
Just the mothers. If you got a fur pet animal like myself, Beyonce's a fur mom.
Fur mom.
How you guys doing?
I like that one. Hope everybody's doing well.
Hope everybody's week was great.
Yeah.
Start this off with some good energy.
Yeah.
How was y'all week?
Pretty good.
I can't complain. Very, very, learned a lot, grew a lot. Can't complain.
What about this weather though?
Oh, awesome. If you're in the East Coast, it's terrible.
It's snowing up there.
It's snowing. Yeah.
I was
It's
like, dang.
For real?
It's May. It's May.
May.
It's May.
Now it's snowing in May.
Yeah.
My mom was like, it was like 40 something, 33 last night in Maryland.
That's
33 degrees.
We're in the 70s. We in the 70s in Houston.
Feeling good. So, as we always do, we're going to start a couple of topics that we want to discuss, but you guys throw out some things, current events that you want to talk about and discuss, and we'll discuss those as they come in. Hey, Brittany, what's going on? Glad you're joining us this week.
I meant to ask you guys, did y'all have any meaningful conversations this week? Remember how we said every
Turn it down a little bit.
every day was gonna be
Yeah. Honestly, just about like I try to just refocus every conversation I had or just communication or interaction I have with anybody to be purposeful, whether it be teaching them or learning from them, because that's what it's about. But I'm not sure what about you, Jay.
Actually, with this group that I'm in, we had a very meaningful conversation about our future and about where we want to be in the next 10 years, and how we're going to get there. So I think, it's about the conversation, it's about planning as well. You got to take those proper steps you need to get there. So planning.
Absolutely.
What about you, Ross? Any meaningful conversations?
Absolutely. And then one thing I do want to clarify, we say meaningful conversations is good, but since some people are still have to be locked down or whatever, not going to work, you can have a meaningful conversation on social media. You know what I'm saying? Again, the purpose of having a conversation is reaching out to somebody, teaching somebody, getting some information from them, not just, how you doing, who was on TV last night, that type of stuff. So you don't have to go out, if some people that I don't do conversations at all, start on social media. But obviously you want to bloom into having conversations with live people, especially when things start opening up. But for me, yes, I did have some with a young man. He was interested in learning about real estate. So I plugged him in here. Hopefully he's on there. But things like that are very important that people want to know. How can I make other streams of income? And that's kind of what the purpose was. Every time I go out, I can say, how can I help somebody? Whether it's a real estate, other business, or something like that, some knowledge, some information. How can we help other people? And that's the mentality that I have. How about you, Courtney?
I actually had a great week. Mine was through social media. Facebook, I was just on Facebook one morning just telling about how I seen gentrification happen in D.C. in 2007 and how it's that same thing that I saw back then I'm seeing here in Houston. And I'm encouraging a lot of my friends and family from the East Coast to jump on the band, this wagon here and invest in Houston. And we had some good, meaningful conversations. I hope I see a couple of people on here. Shelly I had, and I hope some of y'all write your names on here.
Plugging your businesses too, guys.
Plugging
your businesses. We're here to network and connect. So, plugging your businesses, that's why we're here.
Absolutely. Also, the young lady, I guess her Facebook name is T-Mac, the one that won the question last week. As she's on, give us a thumbs up that you got the book, if you enjoyed it, if you started reading it.
If you started with the first chapter or something, let us know. Yeah. We started a little book club on Wednesdays or something.
And whoever sticks around, we're giving out a free Starbucks card this time, and we're still giving away a free book to 2 people, so 2 separate people. So we're going to ask a question at the end of this session, and whoever gets it right, we'll just give them the gift card.
Yeah, and you guys stay towards the end to get it. So that's important. So one topic we want to talk about that we read was how the SBA loans aren't really benefiting small businesses, how they're not helping. I'll let Courtney open it up.
So I sent the fellas a text this morning from an article from Bloomberg that said the PPP loan, Payment Protection Program, is not the sole answer that small businesses are needing right now. They're not needing help with the payroll. They're really needing help with revenue. And customers coming in,
right.
Maybe with that rent that is still due to that landlord. That is what they're really needing help with. Because a lot of these small businesses was already operated by family members, intimate family, husband, wife, kids may be involved. So a lot of them didn't have 10 employees. So that money that they were giving out, 75% of it had to be used for payroll. So the article was saying how a lot of small business that wasn't the necessary answer that they needed. What you guys,
Honestly, I like the point that y'all brought across earlier. And that was just saying that no matter how much they talk about this pay, like how much it was gonna pay for the employees and stuff, but at the end of the day, like how are you gonna pay for employees and how are you gonna have employees on staff when you can't what I say is how are you gonna have employees on staff when you don't have nobody coming in your shop?
They're gonna pay for you.
It's not customers.
Like, I'm making any money.
For the most people that know me, my parents do have a small business, and then we were kind of thinking the same thing. Like we even applied for the loan. It took them forever to come back, and it wasn't really the best process in my opinion to apply for it, and then it was like an email was sent back. We'll let you know when it's available. I was like, what is this? So are you really trying to help the people? Or are you trying to like somebody else brought up earlier about or were you trying to keep people off unemployment for that extra $1,000 or because honestly I was looking at it and I've had a few friends that actually applied for unemployment and they're making more money now than they were making when they were working the job. So I'm like, okay, it's a blessing to you. You better use this time if you're not getting paid to prosper and start working on your small business that you've been trying to work on for a long time. So for some people it may bless them, but what are these about the people who are just using it to mosey around and watch Netflix and just kind of
that's Amazon. Stop spending all your money on Amazon.
I got a customer.
That's mentally crippling because you think you can make money for doing nothing.
And that's not bad. That's the worst thing. I got a client who has a gift shop in the mall, the Galleria Mall, the Galleria Mall is one of the most affluent malls here in Houston. It's like the go-to mall. That's where the Patriots stayed when they came down here for the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. He said they still was charging rent. Now that's where the money should have went to something like that. Defer all of your tenant payments. Maybe he still had to pay his credit card bill. If he had a line of credit, all that still had to be paid. So that giving his money to the payroll, that didn't benefit again the small business. That had more benefits to the employee than it did the owner. So this is keep your ears and eyes into the news because I do believe that. It's going to be another stimulus package, and I do believe we are not even in the middle of it yet.
I hope they correct it, but I don't think they will. Again, so if anybody else has any topics they want to bring up, put that on there now. We'll discuss them. But that being said, we want to do a little real talk today. So just that piece right there. It's not really looking out for the small business. We know all these huge businesses got it, airlines, these big restaurants. These major corporations got it, but they want to say, oh, we don't have enough employees, so we're not going to give it to you as a small business, but they call it SBA, Small Business Administration, right? Which is supposed to benefit us. So do they really care about the small business? Do they really care about you as an individual? And that's one of our main things that we're trying to do here. We're trying to get people to understand that to secure your future or your family's future, you got to get out and do something for yourself. It may not be real estate. We hope it is. We, like I said, all of us are involved in other type of businesses, things like that. If it's not real estate, then you have to start applying to do something, action, right now, before something else happens in the future.
And I believe that's going to happen. It's going to happen till the end of 2021. If you ask me, you're going to see this domino effect for years to come.
I mean, guys, if you just think about security, we're all about security as human beings. We like security. We like to know things, uncertainty. We don't like to be uncertain about anything. So when it comes to even just having security on your future, it's kind of important. Even when you come to relationships, everybody wants to have, security in a relationship. It's the same exact thing. So treat it as such.
And just a quick plug-in, if anybody has any business or anything that you do on the side, just go ahead and drop it. We'll give you a quick shout-out. We do have a few people that kind of come in and out of the podcast, so definitely.
I do see Marcel. He's in Benson watch.
What up, Marcel?
I didn't wear a Benson today, brother. I didn't wear it today.
I didn't wear any watch today. My bad.
Black don't buy watch business, right?
Yeah. Only a number of them in the whole nation, if not in the world. Something about that. I mean, even with that, if you're not ready to do a business, invest in another person that's doing a business. Help them out, and you can still benefit that way. You know what I mean? Like Marcel, he's always looking for investment to grow his business. You can find him on Facebook. Drop it, Marcel Forrest. Find him on Facebook. Find him everywhere. I mean, right now he's been doing a lot of great things on magazines. articles from universities have been writing about them. So, you can find them. And, investments as low as, I won't get into that, I'll let them explain it, but small investments that you can get in. And then, we're helping each other, a person that you personally know, or, you get to know that you can talk to the owner versus investing in some stock that you don't know who the owner is, what they're doing with the money. So again, let's help each other out.
We got Brittany mom, she does cleaning.
Yep, Brittany mom, she cleans that when we're finished rehabbing the houses, she comes down and cleans them for us. So Brittany definitely dropped that.
If you guys ain't any more business, Derek, drop your parents' restaurant.
Support, support your small businesses, man. This is exactly, the crisis that we're in. No support to the small businesses. So, it's not a competition, guys. Support.
And that's funny talking about competition. So when we market this round table, this discussion, we market to like larger groups. I'll get into some of those later, but some of them, like we market to, they block us. I mean, if you have a large group that you're a part of and you want to support our page, as long as it's not some wild stuff, we support that. We want you guys to be active on our page. We're not going to block you because you're marketing some of your own product. I mean, how ridiculous is that? I just thought that was funny. I'm a real estate page, and we encourage people to come on real estate, but somebody that's giving some free real estate education, you're gonna block them because they posted on your page.
You ain't never seen McDonald's turn away Burger King from opening up next door. So
Exactly.
That's usually how they do it.
Well, small minds think small, like somebody's gonna take their business or something like. There's enough business for everybody.
If you understand marketing, when you see a CVS, you see a Walgreens. When you see a Bank of America, you see a Chase. They go, they typically hang around the same
each other.
I'm not about to be over here, and then because guess what? If I'm in the area for burgers and I see a McDonald's, I want options. I want maybe charcoal grill burger. I want a turkey burger. I want a vegan burger. So they typically open up. Around each other. They don't open up across town. That's just not how marketing works.
Yeah. Because if you're trying to go to get a burger, like you said, you go to a corner, you'll have Jack in the Box, Wendy's. You have all four. That way you can figure out.
CVS and Walgreens is the prime example. When you see a CVS,
right across the street,
a Walgreens, and they both are in the exact same industry. They both are thriving, and they both are top 500 Fortune companies. So. And they're side by side, all the family. The same with any advanced autos. They always are around.
And then, honestly, I just feel like it's some people they just have such a I'm not gonna say a poor mindset, but they have a mindset of lack of
resources.
Lack of resources. Because honestly, guys, in the world, there's so much abundance. You know what I'm saying? Because my thing is, you could have a CVS and a Walgreens right next to each other, but what if CVS has better cosmetic, and then Walgreens has better this. It's guys it doesn't matter, you know what I'm saying? 'Cause at the end of the day, if if you're pushing your business and you're trying to keep pushing, there's enough for everybody to get a little piece of the pie, right? Because think about it, these big companies like these food towns and the big companies, if they can survive with another grocery store down the street, why can't you survive with potentially working with another company? Like Corny was talking about earlier about if you can't invest with in yourself yet, why don't you go out there, invest in somebody else, and get a return back from it at the same time you can learn what they might teach you. And if at that point they go on and maybe they want to do it in their own way, well, you know what, great, because at that point, once they blow up and they have X amount of dollars in their bank accounts, why not team up, do a project together, at that point the relationship's built, all right, the respect's there that, I appreciate you for putting me onto this, and then let's go on here and take it up from your complex, you know what I'm saying? That's what it's about, why not?
So, yeah.
That being said, and this is, again, some of the things said here, this is how we feel. That doesn't mean it's true. Don't mean you got to feel that way, right? This is kind of, what we talk about, some of our platform. But for me personally, I think right now I think there's a attack on small businesses. For me personally, I believe that a lot of these large corporations and their conjunction with other things, and we're not going to get political, but other politics, things like that really want to eliminate small businesses. Mm-hmm. Again, we just talked about the SBA. Are they really helping you? So if all these small businesses are going out of business, then what does that do? It makes these bigger businesses monopolize markets.
Right.
So, and that also goes along with, again, doing something for yourself. A lot of things that are going on, again, we're not going to get political. Things have been going on in the media in Georgia, things like that. A lot of this stuff, I believe that we can solve this with having an economic platform for ourselves. no matter what culture you're in, you know, what religion, whatever it is that you practice or whatever you do, you know, build your community up so that way you have economics, you have a voice, you have a say. Like we know Bill Gates donated all this money to CDC, so he could have a voice.
He has a say.
Right? He has a say.
He has
right?
a say.
So we know it's always going to be race, right? There's always going to be race issues. That's all. There's always going to be that. But when you have certain economics, even though they may want to do those things to you, they ain't going to be able to, right? Because they're going to be afraid of what's going to happen.
And you have obstacles that when you finances is always just to keep you. If you're more financially stable, you can fight different battles. That's why these big corporations can, like, that's why your Byron Allen can go to court with the Comcast. Why? Because he has endless money to pay for lawyers. So that's just one example of a guy who has some finances and taking on big companies. You got a lot of people who know these big corporations still. These big corporations do a lot of. I work for a big corporation, and there's been times when people say, "Man, something ain't right," and it may so be like that. But because they don't have the finances to hire a team of lawyers to go through the process, their voice is not heard.
Right.
So it goes to what they say. If you have so again, what that's basically saying, you have bigger pockets. You can talk louder.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, you have more money. You can talk a little louder. And that's where it all boils down to.
Yep.
And that has been like that since the MLK, the Gandhis. It's been like that.
You gain leverage.
Yeah.
You gain leverage, and honestly, you gain leverage. Once you get more power, you gain leverage. You got more of a say so.
You said it great in the post you posted the other day about in the African American community how we don't set up side wills, we don't set up
probates and estates. I definitely put that, man. This disease here is they're saying it's taking out a number of elderly people, wiping them out. If they don't have a will or power of attorney in place, that is going to who's going to handle that house, which is how typically wealth is passed down. So my grandparents bought a house in 1950 for $20,000 that is now in an area that's growing. That same property is worth $500,000.
Right.
And she didn't have a will or estate in place. Now I have to go again finance. Now I have to pay for the taxes on that house. I have to hire a lawyer, take time off of work. You know, all of this stuff. But if people would have planned better, then that wealth you would have. Something I bought for $20,000 now is worth $500,000. My kid is going to leave it to their kids. It's going to be worth $1 million. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you're in an area like Houston or DC where land is a lack of. You know, so that is definitely one thing as a community we have to. We have to educate, and don't keep that knowledge in. You have some good stuff.
Build each other up, man.
And the only reason, you know, like whatever community it is because they have a lack of information. They don't know that they're supposed to leave a will behind. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
So like I can't blame them sometimes. You know, for example, like let's say my mom doesn't know how to use social media. She doesn't know how to use it, so it's not really her fault. You know what I'm saying?
Can't blame her.
Yeah, you can't. So you like with your grandparents, my grandparents on even on software. Like if they don't know something, then but that's why our responsibility to like come out here and then impact our generations coming after us, and then that's why we're on these kind of calls, guys, because we want to make because maybe somebody on this thing might not know that you have to leave a will. You might have a property that, and when something happens to you, you want to make sure that you have that in place. Because at the end of the day, when somebody passes, the last thing I think I mentioned this last week, the last thing you want to worry about is are your kids going to be fighting to see who gets what part of the house because this sibling always did a little more. At that point, we just have to educate each other.
Yeah. Don't let the fear of something stop you from doing anything.
And don't let money stop. I know Felice.
But it does.
It does.
And that's why we have to build that.
Yeah.
And I know for me personally, in my own family, there's been times where it's hard to convince somebody to spend, $5,000 on something that hasn't even happened yet. Because it's, again, money. If we had an abundance of money, $5,000 wouldn't be a problem. It's not like I don't want to, but it's just if I have $10,000, it's $5,000. Half of my $10,000 should I really go spend that to a lawyer? And again, that's but education is definitely key because we have the money, but we're not because if we could spend a couple $1,000s on a cruise, which a cruise typically costs $2,000 to $5,000. That's your will and your estate planning right there. Because really the will is the least up. We really want to have, you talk to a lawyer, he really because the will you still have to pay taxes on and that's what you want to avoid. When the rich, when they die, they have trust.
They have trust.
They have trust accounts. You know, when they die, it's about 8 people under that beneficiary. They build it up so good, it's unheard of. Yeah. But we haven't even seen it on paper. And I know if it wasn't for my profession, I would not have felt this way. But because I've seen it, I've dealt with it, it opened up my eyes. I'm just trying to pass on that knowledge.
An open mind, guys. Keep an open mind. And
the funny thing is what Courtney just said is that when people leave those trusts, most times they leave it within their business.
Yes.
Through a business.
Yes.
Again, that's why it's important to have, again, you're not going to be taught this. They're going to teach you fear. They're going to teach you go to school, get into good jobs, so you can work for a big corporation. They're not going to teach you that. Again, that's why I say there's an attack on small businesses, people starting their business, even though this is how that country was built.
Small business
owners.
And that's the reason why Uncle Sam gives the business owners the biggest tax break. As long as you have a W-2, you will pay the most taxes.
Right.
If you're a small business owner, he looks at it as if you're an apartment complex owner, a small business owner, you're helping his job out for the community. Mm-hmm. So therefore, I'm gonna give you bigger tax break because you're providing jobs to the community and housing to the community. So he gives. And I heard somebody from Trump's tax advisory board mention that on the podcast, and that's what little stuff like that opened my eyes. Like, oh, that does make sense.
Yeah, just the tax cuts in general.
Tax cuts. I would, if I'm setting up a structure, let me give it's just like a smoothie king. Or if I'm a head of a smoothie king, I'm gonna give my franchisee people a bigger bracket because they're controlling my employees. Yep. So therefore I'm gonna give them a bigger tax cut because they're in charge. Same way the government looks at Uncle Sam looks at small business people. But like you said, if everybody's getting hip to the small business. Yeah. The blacks, the Hispanics, everybody's now.
But the industry feels it. And that's the thing. And like they feel the pressure.
And like Ron said, they don't want that. Because now we're not like, think about the cell phone. Sprint and T-Mobile just merged. Yeah. So now where does that leave? If I wanted to start a cell phone company, where does that leave me? Yeah. The biggest ones is all merged together now. The top 3.
Think about cricket. Cricket came in.
Yeah.
But they took it right over. Like, all right, we don't want the company. We'll take it right over.
That's what's going to happen. So you start growing, I'm going to buy you out.
Yeah, I'm going to buy you out because they don't want it. They don't want it. They don't like the competition.
That's all part. Like this class is called Financial Intelligence and Real Estate. And that first piece is the financial intelligence. Like we do teach real estate, but the financial intelligence, that's the mindset. That's the knowledge.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because you can get $100,000 on a deal, but can you keep it?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
that's like you're struggling to.
Let's be realistic here. You know, somebody can have $1 million. You know, like look at the NFL players. I hate to say this, and I use this example all this time. Like when I was a kid, my dad bought 25 acres from somebody that played for the Houston Oilers at pennies on the dollar because he spent away whatever money he had acquired through the NFL. So my thing is. No, think about it. If he would have invested it correctly, if he would have, all right, let me get a 20% return off of this, 100,000. Let me get a 20% return off of this. Let me get this set up to where I'm going to collect a yield for the next 10, 20 years. You know what I'm saying? Instead of going out there, splurging the money, see, that's what we're taught, wrong in a sense, and not to go too much into that, but in regards to what's kind of taught to us as a kid in music, in what we see in the television and stuff like that, what influences most was, what is it? Blowing money,
fast money.
Fast money.
Fast car.
The faster you get, the faster you blow.
And what they say, something I say is, if it's fast, it won't last. And I learned that in trading. You know what I'm saying? Because if it's pushing fast, it's not gonna last. It might last you, 2, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, et cetera, maybe a year, 2 years, and then it's gone. And then you're left with nothing. Then you're like, oh my God, I have this fortune that's completely gone now. And where are you at? Nowhere.
Good investments is what it's all about.
Before we step up, I'm gonna just drop one nugget there. I did have a meaningful conversation this week. This nugget that was left to me, I was like, man, what am I doing with my 401k? I lost this much money, whoop-de-whoop. She told me to look into fixed index annuities. Okay? Roll that 401k into a fixed index annuity, and that vehicle allows you more flexibility than the 401k does.
Absolutely.
So that's just a little, I'm not a licensed broker, right? So I can't get into it, but talk to a financial advisor and ask him, what's the fixed index annuity? And he or she will explain how that vehicle works. And you'll be like, wow, how come this wasn't explained to me? Because again, it's with McDonald's and the JC Penney's and how they put their money in. They put their money in these insurance type of policies and vehicles that allow them to take. allow them to do so much money just because this money is sitting in this insurance, quote unquote, insurance policy.
It's like a vessel.
A vessel.
Yeah,
they can take
like
money off of, borrow from it. They can live it out.
They can do whatever
They can
want.
make that as a bank.
Yep.
And just because, the only reason why is because it's in a different vehicle.
And it's non-taxable.
It's non-taxable.
And we actually have an expert on Duran. That's what he does.
That's right.
He has a license to do that.
That's right, Duran. Yeah, if Duran is on here, plug your information. Like, I need to talk to you about that fixed index annuity.
Yeah.
Because
he hooked me up.
That's what I was explaining. And when she explained it to me, I was like, wow. I was like, wow. She said, yeah, that's what you do, don't? Because I was about to take my money out my 401k.
Yeah, my mom.
You know what I'm saying? I was about to take my money out.
It dropped.
You should take it out and do something.
No, I should take that. I'm still gonna take it out, but the way I'm gonna take it out
you gotta
has to. Because she said, nah, you do that, you're gonna lose just as much as you lost already. So now I was like, yeah, I know, but I'm just so furious. And she was like, nah, fixed index annuity, check that out. Little gem, wow, dropped it on me. I was like, woo.
That's just one way. That's one.
And that's one way. Like what they say in real estate is like you have so many tools in this toolbox. So I can take out this tool, and that's just one tool to acquire this property. Or I got this wrench, which could be another insurance policy.
But you gotta learn how to use it.
I gotta learn how to use it. I gotta know that the tools are in the damn tool.
Yeah, you gotta identify the tools first. Then you gotta learn how to use it.
Then I can build and break down and rebuild. But you gotta, and that's how, I'm one of them type of, you gotta paint the picture out in front of me type of guys in order for me to understand it. And I might hear something. Ross may have told me that in a cigar meeting that we had said one time, and it just didn't click that way. You know what I'm saying? So, but if we keep dishing it out in our community different ways, just like pastors, you'll get it. You'll get it.
When the time comes,
you'll find out.
Yes, sir.
Any questions?
Yeah, any questions before we hop into the actual...
Give you a tool on wholesaling.
We're ready to hop into the class right now, guys.
From Eddie, do you have any first-time homeowners? Actually, yes, Eddie, I do. I just sent Jay to somebody. So if you would either drop your email here or send me your email in a private messenger DM, I'll send you that information. But yeah, we definitely have somebody here in Houston for sure.
You can send it to our page.
Yeah, you can send it to our page.
Yeah, honestly, I'm tell you guys, I applied for a $30,000 grant for our first-time home buyers, and it's out here in Houston if you're looking for some. Yeah. Actually, the whole Texas region, they have tons of programs.
It's everywhere.
And I'm a licensed realtor, so I can help you out. Like I said, my lender, I prefer a lender is really good at making some things move for you. So if you're interested, reach out to me, and we can definitely get you into those classes.
All right, we're gonna hop into the class, guys.
Yep. And in this, make sure you pay attention at the end. So. All right, everybody can see this board pretty good. Let me back it up. Hold on, let me see. Is it good enough? That should be good. Everybody can see that pretty good. Don't worry about the handwriting. That's a different story. But we got to get a professional handwriter here. So I'm definitely not the one. But it looks like it's pretty good. Let me bring it up a little bit. So in our series of wholesaling today, we're going to be talking about creating a buyer's list, or some people say, creating an investor's list. Basically, if you're wholesaling, what you're trying to do, the basics of it, or you're trying to line up a contract from a homeowner to an investor, so you can make money in the middle there. And that's why you have to create a buyer's list. You might have a property. Once you get the property, then you got to be able to sell that property, the contract, to an investor. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. First of all, we started off, you can put us down as investors because we're investors. If you do have a property that you want to get rid of, you can just send us on fire. I have a property, I'm looking to get rid of it. That's what I do. I flip, buy and resell, buy, fix and resell, or buy, fix and flip. So you have one right there. Just put my name down or Fire's name down. You have investor right there. So that's just one. We didn't start the class yet, and you already got one person on your buyer's list. See, we're making things happen. Is the board pretty visible, guys?
Yes.
Pretty good? Okay, so we're talking about first way, and this is the most popular way right now using technology, which is the social media. So when we're talking about social media, nowadays a lot of wholesalers are using this because you can reach a lot of people, and you don't necessarily. We always tell you to start locally for wholesaling in your area, but people do it nationally. You can do it all over once you create that system. So again, we're going to start with join Facebook groups. One in particular is Bigger Pockets. That's a big one, and they talk about a lot of mostly real estate investing, that kind of thing. It's a huge platform. Most of you probably heard of it in some way or form. So join real estate groups like that. Old Capital Podcast, that's the podcast that you can join. And the reason why we say this is because you're going to be around people that are buying homes, that are wholesaling homes. When you're on those sites, you can find other people that say, I'm in Houston. I want to buy properties in Houston. I'm in DC. I want to buy properties in DC. I'm in New York. I want to buy properties in New York. Wherever they are, they're going to put that on there. And that's one way to create your buyers list, right? When they say that, you're going to say, okay, I'm going to write them down as a buyers list. You contact them directly and say, I heard that you were interested in buying houses in this area, that area. Can I, add you to my buyers list? And most times, a serious investor, of course, because at the end of the day, it's going to be about the numbers. Another way, when you're talking about creating your Facebook platform or your social media platform, it doesn't necessarily have to be Facebook, any social media platform, start asking and posting who would be interested in buying wholesale properties, right? Especially when you're on these groups. When you're on these groups, that's a great question. Just post on there, and you'll get so much response. Yeah, and like I said, that's instantly. And all this stuff is free that you can do. So when you get on there, like I said, ask who would be interested in buying wholesale properties. You can do that on your personal page, but you're going to get more feedback if you're doing it on one of the bigger sites. Another thing is, and I'll get into that later, the RIA, the Real Estate Investment Association. They usually have Facebook pages, Instagram, social media pages. You can get on there and do the same thing. Who's interested in buying properties in whatever area you're in for wholesale. And again, you're going to create buyers list fast. A lot of people tell you in some of these classes, you got to have Google AdWords. You got to do all this stuff to create buyers lists. You can do it for free if you're willing to put the work into it. One great way to do is family members. If you're telling your family members, you're looking to get into real estate, help people that maybe losing their house, don't want their house anymore, can't afford it. Somebody died, like Courtney was talking about earlier. They don't want the property anymore, but they want to make the money off of it. That's potential wholesale for you. We call that the inner circle. So always start with the inner circle, right? And again, you can do that on social media. You can call them directly, whoever is in your inner circle. Again, family members, friends. If you're in different organizations, it could be your church, it could be your sorority, your fraternity. All those people, they're going to know other people that have, people that have issues with their homes, not wanting them or losing them and things like that. And that's a great way to create a buyer's list. A great way right there. And like I said, all these are free. All these are free. Another way, join your local RIA. So Real Estate Investment Association. That's what a RIA is. Most major cities have them. You can go for free, but we always suggest to get some of the other perks. They charge you $100, sometimes $200, and it's for a year subscription to be a part of their program. They send you different classes. They offer free classes, but the people that are members, they have some extra classes that you can go. And that's cheap. I mean, outside of what you can get here, again, we're going to help whether you're here, another site, like I said before, I don't care about other people posting on our pages that are kind of doing the same thing as we are, because we know what we bring to the table. So if you can learn something on somebody else's page and have benefit, by all means, we want you to do that, because at the end of the day, we want you guys to be, have a lot of knowledge in real estate and investing in businesses and things like that. So the RIA, Real Estate Investment Association. Another way to get buyers list. We talked about last time creating your business cards or your flyers, right? If you have those business cards or flyers, you can go to your local foreclosure or tax auctions. Usually, most places the first Tuesday of the month, and they hold them at the courthouse, the city courthouse, whatever city you're in, whatever county you're in, they have them there. You can Google it. When is the tax auction? When's the foreclosure auction in your area? And once you Google it, they're going to tell you it's first Tuesday, it starts at 8 o'clock. And what you're going to see when you get there is just going to see, especially coming down the road here when these houses start coming up for foreclosure and people aren't paying their taxes because they lost their job or they're a small business and they didn't get the SBA loan, so now they got to sell off their property just to keep their business from going under. You'll see hundreds, if not thousands, of investors there. And again, we talked about that last week, learning how to start conversations. You got to start talking to people, even if it's just like, here's my business card. I do wholesaling. Can I get your business card? Keep it simple. You don't have to go, especially if you're not comfortable with talking before you get comfortable. As you get comfortable, just pass out business cards. And obviously you want to get people's business cards. And nowadays, the paper business card is great. They have digital business cards. You can look into some of that with the digital part of the business card. You can do it on Facebook by clicking the URL. So there's a lot of different ways that you can, basically pass your information on to other people. That way you get their information as well. Again, you're going to start having to have conversations, get out of your comfort zone a little bit. Like I said, when you're passing out business cards, you can be in a grocery store and have a good conversation with somebody, just friendly. Hey, you know what? I'm into wholesaling. I'm into real estate. Here's my card. If you ever need anybody, if you never need anything, on the back of it, like we talked about last week, you have on the back that you're going to get a $250 referral. Right, $250, $500 referral if you buy the property or you make money off the property. So again, grocery store doesn't matter. One day I was on a plane sitting next to this old white lady, and I'm thinking, why they have to sit near the old white lady? I like. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be like that. I'm just saying, sometimes the old white ladies, they don't want to talk, but I like to have conversations when I'm sitting next to somebody for 2 or 3 hours, right? Yeah. So I'm thinking, oh man, it's gonna be a long ride. I'm not gonna be able to talk to anybody. And then, I don't watch the TVs and all that kind of stuff. So I can read, but having a conversation entertains me. But so I said, let me just throw it out there. How you doing? Where you from? You coming from DC to Houston? Do you live there? You live in DC? So she started talking, and she started, you look sharp. Are you in business? Do you have a business? What do you do? I said, I'm in real estate. And so happens to be that her family had like 5 properties that their parents left, that they didn't want them anymore. And one of them flooded back, a year or 2 ago. One of them flooded, and she said, let me give you this address. I want you to check it out. If you're interested in buying it, let me know. So we had a couple conversations. What they were trying to get for the property didn't work out, so I told her, again, if I can't get the property, let me help you out. I told her, look, I got some guys, maybe I can refer to you to get the property fixed up. You can rent it or sell it for more. Because the property, once it's fixed up, you can get it for more than what, you're trying to get it for now. But the condition it is now, the amount of money that I have to put into it is not going to benefit me really. But again, we had a conversation, right? And I got a contact from that. It almost led into a potential property. So that's why you have to talk. You have to keep talking all the time. Just keep talking to people. Passing out cards, that's a good conversation. If you have it, create a little T-shirt for yourself. We talked about that. If you have a T-shirt that says, I'm in real estate, ask me how. Or, I teach people real estate, or I buy houses, ask me how. Something like that. Anything catchy like that where it starts a conversation with people, they come to you and ask you, and then you just got to be ready to respond. So that's creating a buyer's list. And all this stuff is we're going in, obviously, we have an hour, we usually take about 30 minutes to do this. It's general, right? But this is what gets you started, to get you going. Like you said, right here, it says habits. So this is going to start creating habits, right? I just read the other day that we don't determine our success. We don't determine our future. We determine our habits, and our habits determine our future, right? So if you have bad habits, it means you're going to have a bad future, right? If you want to be in real estate and you don't create good habits every day on a daily basis, you're not going to do very well in real estate. You're not going to do very well in business. You're not going to do very well in life. So create habits. Get on social media. Post every day. I'm buying houses. Talk to other people about what they bought houses. Ask questions from other people. We have a perfect Facebook page. You can get on there and do that all day long. And you already know us, because you obviously, most people on here know us because you're on this live right now. So create habits. And what you have to do is create your own system. We're going to give you the general part of it, and you have to just start what works for you. It could be Instagram, could be Facebook. It could be you have more success in family members and friends. You could have more success with the RIA. You could have more success at the tax auctions. So again, it's going to be something when you get out and do it, what you're going to feel is more comfortable, what you're going to feel that breeds more success for yourself. And we talked about last week that when you're creating that system, obviously some of it's not going to be comfortable for you, but at the same time, once you start doing more and more of it, you're going to find something that's comfortable for you, or something that works for you, until you can get to that point where you can grow and grow and grow. And that's what we always talk about, the knowledge, education. So you want to get that education. Again, I'm going to keep talking about creating your habits, right? And so what we're going to do to wrap it up a little bit, we're going to talk about contracts. So we talked about already yourself creating a business, creating on the first session, creating a business, creating, your flyers, your marketing, that type of stuff. We talked about how to find properties. Now we're talking about how to create buyers lists. So once you do that, and once you get a property, you have a buyer, now you have to understand the contract part of it. We talked about in general in the beginning, we like to use your local MLS contracts. And that contract is for the homeowner that you're buying the property for. So you have that property that you're negotiating with the person that owns the home, and we say use an MLS, a real estate contract in your area. For here, it's TREC, Texas Real Estate Association. It's your MLS basically. And when you get on there, when you research your local, when you research your local real estate agency, they have contracts on there you can use for free. You can just download them. That's the best contract because it's already legal, right? There in that state, it's already made legal. So you can give that to the homeowner, get them to fill it out. Now you have a contract. Now you have it under contract. Once you have it under contract, nobody else can buy that property because technically it's your property because it's under contract. Now it's not technically your property. The deed hasn't changed over to you because you haven't went to closing on the property yet. But that eliminates for some people coming behind you or, later on, they want to sell it to somebody else that offered them more. Once you have that contract legally, you have the right to sell, buy, trade that contract as they do in wholesaling. So, and then once you have that established, now you have a separate contract for your buyer or your investor. And that separate contract for your investor is basically it's a one-page, it's called an assignment contract. So basically what you're doing, you're taking your contract and you're assigning it to another investor or not to an investor. You're considered an investor, so you're assigning that contract to another investor. Once they sign off, you guys agree on a price, then that's when you go to the closing table. And we'll get more into that on the next session, next week, when we wrap it up. But I'm going to keep saying this, create your habits, guys. Create your habits now. All the technical stuff, we have all those resources for you. We have contracts. We can give you contracts and things like that. We can help you in that aid. But if you don't have the habit, it's not going to work for you, right? It's not going to work for you. And then I'm going to talk about a little bit. So again, like we said, in this 4-week session, we're usually an hour. We're giving you generalizations of wholesaling, right? So I do some wholesaling. I'm more into flipping. I buy and fix and flip houses. That's really what I do more of anything. But we have a gentleman that teaches some of our classes, when we have live classes, named Damani, right? He should be on there. Damani, we want you to drop your information. If you're really, really interested and this is your thing, you want to get into wholesaling, reach out to Damani. He'll teach you step by step. He'll have all the contract, everything you need to know about wholesaling. He'll be able to help you out with that. And, obviously, Line's going to charge you a fee because that's what he does. But he can set you up and be an expert wholesaler. But if you're not ready for that yet, that's why we're giving you the basics to get started. You can use all this information that we've been giving you over the weeks that you can go ahead and get started. Maybe you land a deal, right? And then the next time, once you land a deal, you can come back and ask us questions about the deal, things like that. I ran into this situation, I ran into that situation. We can help you out with that. And then once you're ready to go full-fledged into wholesaling, you can contact Amani. Or if you're ready now, you contact Amani and say, look, I'm ready. I'm ready to get involved in this. And like we said before, now is the time because there's going to be a lot of properties coming up on foreclosure, tax auctions, probate, those type of things in the next, 6 months, year, 2 years from now. So if you already created the habits and you create a system and you know what you want to do, that's going to be huge coming down the road here. So again, I hope Damani drops his information.
Remember, let them know, start with the inner circle,
Yeah, that's a huge one. Like, start with that inner circle. Because again, you can get started and that's free. And they already know you. They already know you. So when somebody already knows you, they're going to have that trust, and that way you can find properties. And sometimes you can even find, like we said, the buyers. They might be interested in buying. You guys might be able to team up together and buy the property. Again, that's why that family member's inner circle, that's always where you start. Start talking to people. When you're at the family picnics, when everything clears up, you're at the picnic. Say, I've been online, or I've been looking at these lives, and I'm getting really interested in doing wholesaling. So I'm gonna start doing that real estate. Oh, your uncle will be like, I always want to do real estate. So now you have a platform to say, look, I can put you in touch with these guys. We can learn together. We can maybe do some things together. So again, that's very important. But again, you got to talk. If nobody knows you're doing it, then then they just don't know. Like they say, if you don't know, you don't know. So again, that's important to figure that out, to know that. Any questions so far on what we have? No questions? All right, we're going to talk a little bit as we wrap up here. If you have questions, don't hesitate to ask them. Even if it's after we go live, we'll answer your questions later as well. So basically what we want to do now is we want to get into the questions that we have for the little giveaway. We'll put this board away so nobody cheats.
We just pushing it back.
Oh, actually, turn it around. Y'all got it?
All right, let me try this here.
Yeah. So next week we're going to wrap up the wholesaling, and then we're going to get into the flipping, buy, fix, and sell.
Yeah.
And that's again, that's going to be a lot more detail because again, that's what I do more of wholesaling, right? So you're going to get a lot of that.
It's going to be as seen on TV.
As seen on TV, right? So you'll get a lot more information, detailed information about how to do that. And like we said before, there's an opportunity to invest with us. Today we're going to do a Mother's Day, just something to throw out for mothers. A mother, it doesn't have to be a mother. You know, we're going to give them the first priority, but a Mother's Day special. If you invest with us today, you can reach out to us. You know, most of our amounts are small that we do when we're doing our properties. So if you're interested, we're going to give you a special return today because it's Mother's Day. And you don't have to do it today, obviously, because it's going to take some conversations. But if you reach out to us, DM us, you know, and let us know, look, I'm interested. I want to take advantage of that Mother's Day special.
Great opportunity.
Great. It's going to be a great opportunity. And basically, when we say special, we're going to give you a lot more than we usually traditionally give on your return.
So meaning, so this is especially for like we said earlier, for those who are on the East Coast. You might got a little stimulus package. You got $2,700. We can give you a great return, more than 20% return on that money. So you're not going to find that at any bank. I can promise you.
Or any stock market.
Yeah, that's for sure. So you want to get some good gains on some return on your money, reach out to us. I reached out to a couple of my friends over there on the East Coast. It's a perfect opportunity. Get your foot wet, you know. Get your pinky toe wet. Just see what the temperature of the water is like. You know, just stick your big toe in there, and then you'll realize it's not too cold.
It's not. It's just like the fear that kind of makes you feel uncertain. Like, oh, I don't really know about this. I don't really know too much about it. But once you get into it, I mean, you can basically start to flip that money and start making it work for himself. Start making it work for itself, basically.
So now we're going to get into the questions. All right. So first, we'll do the question for the Starbucks card, the $10 Starbucks card. And you don't have to be in this area. We can, Starbucks is digital. We just send it to you. You can put it on your app or whatever. So that first question is, what does RIA stand for?
Every city has a RIA.
And I said it a couple times very slowly. That way you guys can get it.
REIA.
What does it stand for? We got 10 seconds left.
10 seconds. We always do first come, first serve. Whoever answers the question first.
Where my RV at? It's your Starbucks for the week. Maybe not for the week. I'm a Starbucks. You might get you a day in.
Especially when you're drinking that Frappuccino.
The Frappuccino, the macchiatos, with the almond milk and all that. But yeah, what does the RIA stand for? Anybody?
Quick plug in. Hi, Dad.
Hey. Mr. Pena, how you doing? So other question we're going to ask, and this will be for the books, right? For the knowledge, which that's great. Starbucks is great. You can keep you up so you can read the book. You can win twice. We're not going to be like you won once. If you answered both questions first,
we are not the radio station. Yeah, okay, we are not the lottery.
First come, first serve.
None of those rules apply here.
And if your family, it doesn't matter.
Does not apply.
So the other question is, name one of the social media groups that you can join that we name.
Podcast or one of the podcasts or social media groups that we recommended. And guess what? If nobody answers this time, we rolls over. We treat it like the AT&T old minute. roll over those tips to the next month.
Hey, but that's why you gotta take your notes.
That's
pay
right.
Attention, listen.
The note takers are the money makers, as they say.
Absolutely.
And in this case, the Starbucks winner card.
So as those answers are coming in, let's wrap it up. So any wrap up things that you guys want to cover?
Well, meaningful conversation. I think we should do another week.
Yeah,
of that.
another
That
week.
should be every week.
That should be
Another
every
week, yeah,
week.
we want-
You know, guys.
We will
like-
just make this our every week thing, meaningful conversations.
Yeah.
We're gonna converse anyway.
Yeah,
Why just talk about love and hip hop?
Right.
Why?
matter of fact, what we can do, next person that comes on the live, you tell us a meaningful conversation that you had. Maybe we can give you a Starbucks card or, something, work out something like
There
that.
you go.
So, just interact.
Interact.
So yeah, meaningful conversation for sure. Those who have 401ks, talk to a financial advisor. We got Duran, who actually helped start it, Fire. Duran, he does insurance, and he's a licensed.
Was he on there?
He did not come on.
Okay,
But
we can give you.
we definitely give you information. But again, if you have a 401k and you're concerned, a gem that was bestowed upon me earlier this week was looking to fixed index annuity. So that's a tongue twister word right there. But look into it though.
One thing that's great about us is, whatever we tell you, either we're about to do, we're gonna do, or we're already doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We're not telling you something to go and do that we haven't done, right? Or we're not doing, or
Or that I wouldn't advise my own mother to do.
Right.
Okay, I don't roll like that. I don't. We none of us at this table do.
My dad's on the call, you know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna give you all the information.
Yeah, we don't do that. We wouldn't be sitting here together. That's for sure. So.
Yeah.
Did you put the restaurant information?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
And honestly, guys, just a quick little, I'm not going to say plug-in, but just, with like these books and stuff like that, it just, and what Z said about the habits, guys, like every single thing that you should be doing in life should be like somewhat positive to benefit your future. I had somebody I like to make sure I stay active and whatnot. I went to go for a run with somebody, and then I gifted them Rich Dad Poor Dad. They finished the book in 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
It takes me like a long time to finish any book, but it just goes back into it, guys. If you're hungry, if you're open-minded, if you're not closed-minded to the point where like, oh, he just wants to, make money off of you or something like that. No, like, we're just really trying to help, So
Right.
if you're open-minded and you get to that point where you read that book, it took me 3 days to read that book,
Yeah.
and I was just like, all right, you know what? That lets me know that maybe you deserve that extra attention. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that extra, like let me work with you a little more because that right there to me is impactful.
Yeah. It's funny that you said how people always say, "Oh, you're just trying to make money," when you don't even realize somebody's trying to make money off of you every
Yeah.
step. When you're driving, somebody's trying to make money off of
They
you.
are making
You
money
see a
off
sign.
it. They are making money off
But they're also marketing. They're
Right.
also trying to make money.
Right.
It's literally somebody trying to make money off of you every single
Every day.
moment of your life, throughout your day. Somebody, you don't even realize it because that's a part of marketing.
Think about Nike, right? Every single time you wear a Nike shirt, somebody else sees your Nike logo, now they want to go buy a Nike, a pair of Nike shoes.
Somebody's
You know,
trying. So it's who's selling it. That's the question. Like, is this a person selling some good knowledge? Sure, let me buy it.
Right.
I buy all good knowledge.
Yeah.
You got people that went to college, they didn't get no type of knowledge out of it, and wasted thousands.
Self-investments. Self-investments. Yeah, self-investments, guys. It's really
So it
important.
looks like we're gonna have to really have a what you call it?
A follow-up for this question. Nobody
Yeah.
wrote it down. I said it a
Never
couple
wrote
times.
over it.
Y'all weren't taking notes.
It's okay though. You still gonna get an answer and just have them. We get an answer.
Yeah.
Try next
So-
week. But the next week.
Well, no, I'm gonna leave it open because if somebody, you can look it up after we go off the live. The first person that comes in, you can answer it on our page.
Yeah, just DM us, guys. Just DM us.
DM us with the answer,
Yeah.
and we're gonna give it to whoever answers first. So.
Once again, REI. I know there's something on this call that knows what it is. It doesn't matter who you are, just say it.
Yeah. What is REI?
I'm gonna give a little clue. Maybe something like fire might stand for 2 of the letters. I don't know.
Yeah, might be right. And then
Look, they much better than me, you guys. I'm like, nah, I ain't get it. Tune in next time.
Next time.
But no, go ahead and leave the answer. We definitely want to bless somebody off this week.
And the other one was, out of the two that we named, whether it's a podcast or a social media group that you can join to get, information, create buyers list, properties, that type of thing. Name one of those.
And in my experience with wholesaling, the buyer's list is going to be an easy thing to come by. You want to find that property.
And that's why we've been at
The property, you guys, you got a good deal. It's just like anything else. You got something that smell good. You ain't got to sell it. You put it out there. Let them get a whiff
It's gonna
of
smell
it.
itself.
It's gonna sell itself.
It's gonna sell itself.
Yo, where that's coming from? Like, really, you ain't gotta sell me. If it's something good, if you get a good deal, if you talk to your inner circle, somebody else, your sorority, your fraternity, who, you know what I'm saying, something just happened. Divorce just happened. Somebody just got a divorce. What you about to do with that property? Bow. That's it.
And do yourself research on it, guys. I mean, take the time. You have to put your own effort into it as well. You're not going to learn everything in this one session or the 2 sessions. You're going to have to pursue this on your own. So if you got some free time, just look up, wholesaling, look up just real estate in general. Just get good with the terminology. And, a lot of things that, can add to this in the long term.
And on our page, we have videos. We have so much information there.
YouTube.
We've been doing this over a year, you guys. We definitely have some stuff out there for you.
And we've been in real estate for 10 plus years, so it's nothing new that we don't know. And if we don't know, we'll ask somebody else.
We're not those people who just expect that we know everything. I'm not afraid to ask. I don't think nobody else at this table is afraid to open up their mouth.
So make sure you guys follow our YouTube.
Yes.
Follow our Instagram. We will be, introducing this crowdfunding very soon to you guys, so you can get invest with us. So stay tuned, guys. What else you guys got to leave with?
Just have a great week. Stay positive.
Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day.
Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah. And tell somebody to know somebody that knew somebody that now know somebody.
Share.
Continue to share. Continue to share.